Hello everyone and welcome back to today's another tutorial for Python programming series. So today we'll discuss functions, those parameters and the arguments, understanding this concept for writing effective function. So now let's get started. First of all, let me explain what are parameter and argument. The parameter are variable listed inside the parameter list in the function definition. They act as the placeholder to the value you pass to function. And next one for the argument, on the other hand, are the actual value you provide to the function when you call it. Any simple term parameter like the integer, string, cup, while argument are the specific item you can use in this result. Okay. So now, if the student using example for function with positional parameters, okay, so now let's get started. You can see, first of all, I'm typing here the date and also type here including the function name that add numbers. This instead of including two parameters, first A and B. Next, I'm using the statement for the return A and additional operator for B variable. Now just I'm calling the function, so use the symbol of the result if we call the add number now including the value 7 and the 9. Okay, so now I'm simply apply the skin function and in this inside output message sum and calling the result. Okay, so you can see it here is completely done and you can see this example. We define a function called the add numbers with two parameters like A and B. And when you call the function with argument for 7 and 9, it adds them together and return the result. Okay, so now let's see the output and see. Okay, you can see here the total result and the output will show on the sum of 60. Okay, it's done this simple example. Let's talk about for the function with default parameter. This is the second example just where we create a function with default parameter and it's allow us to provide a default value if no argument is given. Okay, so now let's create this another example. So first of all, here I'm declaring this function's name. The type for is it great. In this inside and define for the name and including here the same name is the guest and also this next step in here and using this simple print function I'm going to apply the formatted output. So first I'm printing the file and using this curly bracket this inside including this name in this and now just calling this function using, so first I'm using this empty discrete function. This is the default parameter. Just again calling this storage and in this inside including the name is me. Is the override this default parameter. Okay, so now just I'm saving this port and let me run this port now. As you can see here, the symbol of error here is the provide. So now let's just check the port again. This port and then run. Okay, so you can see first of all I'm using this great function is names. Okay, so you can see here is the float only using this equalizer sign and then now it's working in this program. So I will just again save this code and let me run this code now. As you can see it's perfectly framed or high guest of the high skin. Okay, so you can see here it's properly using this function with default parameter. And now I'm just using this another example for function with keyword argument. So now let's create those allow us to specify which parameter we are providing when calling the function. Okay, so now will create this new another for example this function name and create this display information. Okay, so here I'm just create this information and just type OK. Let's create this new another example. This function name is create this display information display for each information. So now including the parameters. So firstly include here the name parameter. Second the include here is the age parameter. Okay. Here I'm using the symbol of brain function and using for informative that the person include here is the same. Okay. This calling for the kind of brackets defined is name and also including here this age and using the curly braces and define this age variable. Okay, so now just calling the function with the keyword argument, and so now I am just calling this display information, and in this inside function including that age is equal for the 30 and the name is equal to including the person name is Bob. Okay, so here is completely done in the symbol of example, and now just saving this code and lately we run this and the code output. And here posted painting, the name is Bob and here is a 13 as completely show that skin we have provided are going in my code and output will be same name and age. Okay, so that's it for 2 Studio. Today we'll learn about the function and our domain platform and explore here is the positional parameters, default parameters and the keyword argument. Okay, so I hope you understand this tutorial properly.